Okay, so this is Chapter 3 Polynomials Test Review. This is pre-test number 2, and this is part 2, so this is the back side of that review. We're going to go over things like synthetic division, synthetic with an I, and graphing polynomials. So question number 14, 15, and 16 are all asking, is the given a root or a factor? So it just matters on what they're giving us, and we're trying to see if when we do synthetic division we get 0 or not. So when we look at number 14, our numbers are 1x, they're 3x to the fourth. There's no x cubed, that's where I'm getting 0. 2x squared, no x in there, that's where I'm getting 0, and then negative 5. Since they're giving me x plus 2, that's a factor. So in the box, I'm going to do the opposite, negative 2. I'm doing synthetic division. Drop the 3, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, positive 56. Doesn't matter what I get there because it's not 0. So the answer to the question, is it a factor or a root? The answer is no. All we're looking for is if we got 0 here, it'd be yes. Since we got 0 for a remainder, or not 0 for a remainder, it's no. Question 15. Same setup. I put up my leading coefficients. 1, 4, negative 15, negative 18. Since it gives me x minus 3, I'm going to change it and put positive 3 in the box. I'm doing synthetic. Drop the 1. Multiply. Add. That's 7, sorry. Bad math for a second. 7. Multiply. 3 times 7 is 21. Add. I get 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Add them. I get 0. Since I got 0, the answer to the question is yes. It is a root, or I'm sorry, it is a factor this time. X minus 3 would be the factor. 3 would be the root. But all you really need to answer to the question is yes. Number 16, we set up 3, negative 1, positive 1, negative 2. Those are our 4 numbers. Since they give us just negative 2, we're not changing the sign this time. It's just negative 2 in the box. And we go. Drop the 3, multiply. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Add to get negative 7. Multiply to get positive 14. Add to get 15. Times to get negative 30. I add to get negative 32. Doesn't matter what that number is, because as long as it's not 0, the answer is no. It is not a factor or a root. We should be pretty good at those, I hope. Question 17 says find all the rational zeros. All the rational zeros are the answers to the polynomial. First thing it says to do is list p's and q's. That's what I did here. P was 2, q was 1, and then I did the factors plus or minus 1 and 2. Then all I'm doing is synthetic division. I'm looking to get 4 answers total. So I set up the numbers 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2. Those are my leading coefficients here. And then I'm going to test some numbers. I'm going to start with 1 and then work my way down. Okay, so I'm going to start by plugging in 1 here, see if it works. Drop it, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add is negative 2, multiply is negative 2. Darn it, I got 0. It didn't work. So if it didn't work, I'm going to try again. This time I will try with negative 1. So right down below, same setup. 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2. Doing synthetic, negative 1 in the box, drop the 1, multiply, add to get negative 2, multiply to get positive 2, add to get 1, multiply to get negative 1, add to get negative 2, multiply to get positive 2, add to get 0. So that's good. I got a 0. I'm not done yet though. This was an x to the fourth problem right here, so that makes this an x cubed. Well, I don't know how to solve an x cubed, so what I need to do is keep working and do another division problem. So using these same 4 numbers, I'm going to do division again. Since negative 1 worked, now I'm going to jump to 2 and see if it works. Well, didn't leave myself enough space there. Let me fix that real quick. I dropped the 1. I'm multiplying times 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. I add to get 0. I multiply 2 times 0 to get 0. I add to get 1. I multiply to get 2. I add to get 0. So what was down here? It was an x cubed problem, or x to the fourth problem. I did division, get x cubed. So 101 is x squared. So over here to the side, this represents 1x squared plus 1, and I'm going to set it equal to 0. Subtract 1. Take the square root. X is equal to plus or minus I. Since I took the square root of negative 1, my other two answers are negative 1. That's what I got right there. And 2. That's what I got right there. Those are my 4 answers to that problem. Number 18 is the big, really hard one of this whole test. I'm setting up synthetic division. I'm finding the remaining zeros. I've got 1. I've got 0x squared. I've got 6x minus 20. I'm putting negative 1 minus 3i in the box. And we just got to go slow and make sure we do this right. So I drop my 1. I multiply. So I get negative 1 minus 3i again. I'm adding to 0, so nothing changes. I'm multiplying. So I'm going to take negative 1 minus 3i times negative 1 minus 3i. So I'm going to have to FOIL that. So over here to the side, I'm going to zoom in so I can have some space to FOIL. Negative 1 minus 3i times negative 1 minus 3i. So I'm FOILing. That gets me positive 1 plus 3i plus 3i plus 9i squared. So that's 1 plus 6i minus 9. So it's negative 8 plus 6i. Alright, all I did was take those two things and FOIL. So negative 8 plus 6i. That's what's going to go right here. Negative 8 plus 6i. I combine again. 6 and negative 8 is going to get me negative 2 plus 6i. I have to FOIL again. I'm going to take that what's in the box times this. It should get me positive 20. Let's see if that's true. So over here to the side, I'm taking negative 1. I'm zooming in again, 1 second. So I'm taking negative 1 minus 3i times, I forget what I'm multiplying by, sorry. Negative 2 plus 6i. Negative 2 plus 6i. I should be getting negative 20. Multiply 2 minus 6i plus 6i minus 18i squared. Middle parts cancel. 2, that gets me plus 18. It got me an answer of 20. That's what I wanted. Great, I got 0 just like I thought. Okay, that's the hard part. Once I've done division with 1 minus 3i, I'm going to do it right again. This time I'm going to do it with negative 1 plus 3i. I'm doing synthetic again. I know I should be getting 0. I drop the 1. I multiply. The net 3i's cancel, so I get negative 2. I multiply again. Negative 2 times negative 1 would get me positive 2. Negative 2 times 3i gets me negative 6i. That all cancels to get me 0 like I hoped. This was an x cubed problem. This was an x squared problem. That makes this an x minus 2 equal to 0. So my answer is x is equal to 2 and negative 1 plus or minus 3i. Those are my 3 answers. It's not that tough of a question if you take your time and do it correctly. There's 18. 2 left to do here, 19 and 20. Number 19, finding the zeros, touch across, degree, and end behavior. So we start off by setting each thing equal to 0. It's already factored, so I just set it equal to 0. Negative 3 is equal to 0. That does not make any sense, so that is not going to be a root. My next one says x plus 6. So x plus 6 equals 0, so that's x is equal to negative 6. Since there's a 1 on the outside of the parentheses, that means it's going to cross. X minus 1, so it's x is equal to positive 1. There's a 2 on the outside, so that means it's a touch. I also need to state what's the degree. Since there's 1x here and there's 2 there because the exponent, my degree is 3. And my end behavior, it's degree of 3, so I know my ends are going to go opposite. And it's a negative leading coefficient. So opposite ends and negative coefficient means negative slope. So that means I'm going to start up and I'm going to go down. Okay, if you don't remember those, you need to go back in your notes and memorize them. Okay, that's something I hope you got down by now. We're putting all of this on our graph. So I'm marking at -6. I'm marking at 1. I'm starting up. So I'm going to start just a little bit up over here. I'm going to come down to -6. At -6, it tells me to cross. So I'm going to cross that graph, turn around, get to 1. I'm going to touch it, just like it says, and go back in the opposite direction and down low. I started up, ended low, just like I wanted. I crossed at -6. I touched at 1. There's my answer for 19. Number 20, same idea, setting each thing equal to 0. 2x squared is equal to 0. That means x is just 0. Since there's a 2, the multiplicity is a touch. X plus 4, so x is -1, or -4, sorry. It's to a 1, so it's cross. X minus 3 is equal to 0, so it's x is equal to +3. It's a 1, so I cross. The degree is 4 because there's 4 x's, so that means my end behavior goes in the same direction, and it's a positive number, so it's up, up. I put marks on my paper at 0, -4, and 3. I start up a little bit to the left at -4. When I get to -4, I'm crossing it, so I'm crossing -4. I turn around and go to 0. At 0, I'm touching, so I'm going to come up to 0, touch, come back the same direction. I go back to 3. At 3, I'm going to cross, and I finish up. I started up, finished up, just like I hoped. Just done every problem on the test. Go back and watch my other videos. It's everything you need in order to get an A on this test like you should. Good luck.